A woman in her 30s lived a stable life after her husband unexpectedly left for a long work trip. She didn't expect his absence to last so long. What she didn't foresee, however, was the simple request she made to her younger sister to send her teenage son to help with some household chores. Little did she know that this small request would open doors she never imagined, leading her down a path that would soon be beyond her control. Stay with us until the end, for the story you're about to hear is one of the most dangerous events that occurred behind closed doors. The days passed slowly since her husband left. The house was quieter than usual, and loneliness knocked at her heart every night. A beautiful woman in her early 30s with pale skin and long, soft hair, her features, though tired, still carried an overwhelming femininity. She struggled to keep her life normal, but the absence of the man she loved was having an undeniable effect. One day, as she was cleaning the backyard, she felt an intense fatigue. She called her younger sister and politely asked her to send her son to help with some light chores. The boy was no more than 16, tall, strong, with sharp eyes that made him seem older than his years. His mother agreed, and the next day he arrived. From the very first moment he entered the house, something strange changed in the atmosphere. His glances lingered too long, his conversations occasionally crossed boundaries without being rude, and he stared at her when her back was turned. She wasn't blind to this, but she chose to ignore it. Then she began noticing that he would enter the kitchen without asking, bending down in front of her in ways that seemed to show off his body. He spoke in a low voice, his gaze never wavering. On one occasion, a cup of water fell from his hands, and he bent over slowly to pick up the shards while she watched without moving. She didn't plan anything, but she felt something stirring within her. Her heartbeat was no longer steady when he was near, and the warmth spreading through her body wasn't due to the weather. She started avoiding looking at him, but each time she tried, her gaze returned to him involuntarily. Every time he left a room, she would ask herself, "Why are you thinking about him? He's your sister's son." But her mind no longer had full control over her thoughts. One afternoon, as she was leaving the bathroom wrapped in a towel, she was shocked to find him standing in the hallway. He didn't look away but said calmly, "I'm sorry, I was heading out, but I couldn't leave without seeing you." His simple words broke something inside her. She rushed to close the door, her heart pounding, and placed a hand over her chest. She looked at herself in the mirror, asking a question she never thought she would. If he tries, will I resist? And so the events began spiraling into a path with no return. The next day, she tried to ignore him completely. She didn't speak to him, didn't look at him, and didn't ask him for help. But she could feel his presence behind her, his gaze following her in every corner of the house. He hadn't left. His mother had said he would stay for 2 more days to help her with some tasks. That night, after she entered her room and closed the door, she stayed awake. Her heart was uneasy, and her body burned with something she couldn't explain. Every scene between them replayed in her mind, but her mind refused to give her rest. Suddenly, she heard a soft knock on the door. It was a gentle tap, but it wasn't the usual sound of a child knocking. She fell silent, then opened the door slowly. There he was, standing there, his eyes meeting hers with a different look, a look of a man. He didn't say anything, but simply stood there, waiting for her to decide. She asked, her voice trembling, "What is it?" He replied calmly, "I can't sleep." "Can't you?" She didn't answer, knowing that his words were sincere. "I can't sleep either," he said quietly, almost as if enticing her without saying the words. She looked into his eyes for a moment before shutting the door in his face, but she didn't sleep that night. The hours dragged on. The next day, something unexpected happened. While she was sweeping the carpet, he bent down to help her, and his hand brushed hers. She froze, quickly looking up. He was close, so close now. He whispered, "You're tormenting me, and I can't take it anymore." She pulled away quickly, not in anger, but in fear of herself. She ran to her room and locked the door behind her, hearing his steps slow down as he walked away. But she knew deep inside that mere denial wouldn't be enough. That evening, while she was preparing dinner, he stood behind her silently. She could feel him. Every fiber of her being trembled. She turned around to scold him, but he suddenly reached out and gently held her hand. "I'm not your cousin's son," he said. "I'm a man and you're a woman. If you see me as just a boy, tell me now, and you'll never see me again." She stood still, tears silently falling from her eyes. He continued, "I go to sleep every night suffering, and this isn't your fault or mine. But if we continue like this, we'll both be ruined. I'm married, and this isn't right, but your husband left you, and he forgot about you. I'm the one who sees you every day, feels for you, and longs for you." She stood frozen, staring at him for a few moments, then whispered, "Go, please go." She closed the door in his face. But the third time wasn't like the others. In the middle of the night, she came out of her room to get some water. The lights were off, and the house was quiet. She was startled to find him sitting on the couch in the dark, as though he had been waiting for her. She approached him and asked, "Are you still awake?" He answered softly, "I can't sleep. My thoughts won't leave me." His voice was filled with sadness. "Why did you come? Why did you agree to help me?" He responded in a voice full of pain, "I didn't come to help you. I came to see you." She looked at him, and slowly she sat next to him. Her heart raced, and her hands trembled. He leaned closer and whispered, "I'll leave in the morning, but if you leave now, I'll leave, and you'll never see me again. But if you stay, I won't be able to walk away." She stood up suddenly and went back to her room, locked the door, and began crying. The next morning, she woke up to find a note on the kitchen table. She opened it. "I promised you that if you left, I would leave. And here I am, gone. But I won't forget you. I will always love you, even if I never see you again." She collapsed into tears, but it was too late. Weeks passed, and her husband returned. She never mentioned what had happened, but she was not the same. Her heart was no longer the same. In it, her cousin's son had left a wound that would never heal